What is up, everybody? How is it going? Austin prechtelevate Performance, coming at you live. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope you are having a good day so far. Let's jump into this. Today, we are going to be talking about gym anxiety because a lot of you out there right now who might be starting a fitness journey might be nervous to go to the gym or might just be nervous to work out in general. And for right now, with certain restrictions and things like that that might be going on, you might not even be able to go to the gym or may not feel comfortable going to the gym, and that's okay too. But I'm just here to talk about once you are comfortable going to the gym for whatever reason, or once things open back up and once things kind of return to a sense of normalcy, this is what you should do if you're somebody who struggles with gym anxiety, because it is super common, it is super normal, and I know that a lot of people, even at the gym that I've been going to, is you see it. It's kind of people come into the gym when you're working out, and they kind of have this little kind of like lost look. You can tell that maybe they're not feeling the most confident right now. And I want this to be like a reminder, like if you are in that situation or have been in that situation before, it's okay. It's okay. And I want to take a second here too, like before we jump into this and what I suggest you guys do. One, let me know how your day's going. Like drop a comment so I know that you're here. Give the video a like so that way I can see you. It helps other people see this, and hopefully it will help some other people deal with their own gym anxiety. But we've all been in there in that situation, right? At some point, like everybody starts somewhere, right? You weren't born knowing how to like curl a weight or use a certain machine, or go to the gym with confidence in doing a lot of movements. And so I see, I've seen it, and a lot of it's from people who are generally on the more immature side, or maybe younger, and don't necessarily haven't really developed a sense of empathy yet in life. But if you are, and typically it is younger people, and that's okay. But I've seen a lot of just to put it bluntly, older people who are like who never grew up, or who have very low emotional maturity and are kind of like dicks, and so basically, just to put it bluntly, are dicks. And you see people complaining about, oh my gosh, like the gym is so crowded. Like, look at all these people like messing shit up, and like, oh, they're coming into my territory and messing my like. And there are people out there like that. But I'm telling you, first and foremost, they are the very, very, very few. Like, they're just a loud minority, right? They're the loud minority. And so, in that sense, like, not everybody is out there. And I encourage you, if you are, going to the gym right now, and you see gym newbies, or you see people who feel like they are struggling or maybe anxious or whatever it may be, welcome people into the gym, right? Like, be welcoming, be kind, be like a good fucking person, and don't be like a dick about things. We've all been there. And just to be honest, like when I was younger, and I did not have like a broadened worldview, or I wasn't as empathetic as I am now. There were times where I was like, oh my gosh, this is so annoying. There's all these people in the gym that are, that don't know what they're doing, and they're taking up the machines and blah, blah, blah. What's the point? They're going to quit anyways, kind of deal. And obviously that's not like a good mindset to be in. And that's not like a positive mindset. That's not a very welcoming mindset. And I think that a lot of people, would I think everybody I think the world in general, and like the fitness industry in general, would be a much better place if it were more welcoming, a more positive place. And so whether you're in that place right now where you are an empathetic person, and you are an encouraging person, you are welcoming people into the gym, because everybody starts somewhere, right? Everybody starts somewhere. You don't know that person, you don't know their backstory, you don't know like who, for all you know, they could be more adept and know more than you do when it comes to the gym, and maybe they just had a rough patch and they fell off for like who knows how long. You don't know anybody's story. So first and foremost, like, get that shit out of your head, because everybody deserves a seat at the table when it comes to being at the gym. And if you disagree with me, then I'm sorry, but you're probably, probably a pretty negative person in general. And I don't really care if you want to be in my life anyways. And so, or if you agree with me anyways. So I highly encourage you guys though. So, we've all been there at some point, right? Like, we've all started somewhere. We've all, whether it was in high school or when you were a teenager, and that's when you started going to the gym. You think back to then, whenever you first started going, right? you probably did not feel super confident in yourself. You probably did not feel like you were doing things properly. You probably had some low level of anxiety when it came to your, going to the gym, right? Working out in general. And so I encourage you guys, before we jump into this and what I suggest to do about gym anxiety and the mindset that kind of goes into it, is hey, like, everybody deserves to be there, right? I don't care, like, what your background is, who you are, if you're a dad, a mom, if you're, like the gym is for everybody, like, no matter what your age, your race, your sexual orientation, any of those things, like none of those things should matter when it comes to fitness. None of those things should matter when it comes to, having a seat at the table when it comes to fitness. And a lot of times it feels kind of like this walled off, especially with the fitness industry. Sometimes it feels like it's kind of like this, like, very like walled off, like kind of like hyper masculine kind of like place. And in the past, historically, the fitness industry has not been the most welcoming to people, or to men, or not, or well, to women and in general, and things like that, and other, and so I encourage you, do your part to make it a more welcoming place, because that's what it should be. It should be a place for people to grow and work on themselves. And so I hope that resonates, because that's what we're about over here. So at prechtelevate Performance. So yeah, guys. So gym anxiety. So let's talk about that. So a lot of people, because anxiety sucks, right? Anxiety sucks, and there's kind of a difference between just being nervous, right, and actual like anxiety or like a panic attack and things like that. But sometimes the line can get blurred a little bit, and one can kind of like spiral into the other, right? And so I'm somebody, just to be completely transparent and honest, I have anxiety from time to time. I first experienced it myself. Well, probably knowing that I experienced it myself last year. Last year, not I guess technically in 2020 now, since it's 2022. Wow. But I had my first like adult anxiety attack or panic attack. In 2020, and it sucked, right? I had a lot of anxiety, looking back and recognizing what it was when I was a teenager. A lot of anxiety, like really bad. But so I know, and I can empathize, and I can relate to the feelings of it. I know what that stuff's like. Gym nerves are kind of like a different thing. It's more of like a nervousness, but it doesn't mean it can't trigger these things if you're someone who does struggle with anxiety or panic attacks. And so whatever you want to call it, let's just call it like gym nerves, right? You're starting out, you're new, or maybe you haven't done it in a while, or maybe you're in a place right now where you just don't feel confident, like, right? And maybe you're in a weird headspace and you're just like, oh, like everybody's judging me, like I feel like I don't belong here. I don't want to look like an idiot. Oh my gosh, like look at all these other people that like look great, and like I feel like I don't like fit in here. And so you have a lot of these thoughts running through your head. And I know people who have in the past, like they'll go to the gym and they'll just sit in the parking lot, right? They'll just sit in the parking lot and they can't convince themselves to get in there. Or they'll go in and they won't, and they're too scared or too nervous to go and hit the gym, right? Or use any of the equipment. So maybe they'll just default to going to the cardio machines because anybody can walk, right? And so that oftentimes happens, and a lot of these people, they're robbing themselves of the opportunity to a healthier version of themselves, a stronger version of themselves, a more confident version of themselves, which sucks because at the end of the day, like that's not what we want, right? Well, that's not what anybody wants for themselves. We want to feel like we belong. We want to fit in, and so a lot of times a lot of it comes from this lack of confidence or this lack of certainty in yourself and in your own ability to do things, or you're comparing yourself to other people. And so one thing I want to say to just get out of the way that I think everybody needs to hear at some point or another is nobody is paying as much attention to you as you think they are, and especially as much attention as you were paying to yourself, right? Like we go places, and it's just a part of human nature, but we feel like oftentimes we are the center of our own. We're the center of our own universe, right? So we go places, we think people are judging us, we think people are thinking things about ourselves, when they're probably thinking about what they're going to eat for lunch later that day, or oh my god, like you think about all the thoughts that go through your head randomly throughout the day. That shit is happening to every other fucking person on the planet at any given time. You go to the gym, nobody's paying attention to you, and if they are, like who fucking cares in the first place? But I guarantee you they are not. And if you I guarantee you that they're not. You know, at the end of the day, like try to remember, right? Try to remember, you know, who you saw at the gym earlier today if you did go to the gym, right? Try to remember, like, try to remember details. Try to remember. I can't remember shit, and I go to the gym every single day, and I don't remember, you know, 99% of the people that are at the gym. I don't know any of them. I don't remember people because I'm too busy focused on my own shit, too focused doing my own thing. And like 99% of the people at the gym are in the same boat, doing the same thing. They're not paying attention to you, right? They're probably looking at themselves, you know, and thinking the same thing. And it's one of those things that we need a reminder. Like everybody is just as in their own head as you probably are. And so don't sweat it. Don't stress about it. Don't worry about it. Like nobody's judging you. And if they are, you don't like honestly, you don't need to value their opinion anyways because they're probably a shitty person. So that's the first thing, right? Like get out of your own head. Like stop being paralyzed by fear because everybody else thinks these things all the freaking time, right? So I see a comment here. I suffer from anxiety to get this until I realized it was I was my own worst enemy. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, and so it's one of those things like anxiety is one thing, but like gym nerves is an entirely different thing in a sense. And so like you know don't stress out about it because nobody's paying as much attention to you as you think they are. Unfortunately, I hate to break it to you, like, and this is coming from somebody who has sometimes has a decent sized ego, and acknowledges it, right? So has a decent sized ego, and like nobody's paying attention to you. Like you are not that special. I am not that special. We are all nobodies, and nobody cares. So that's the first thing to tell yourself if you're trying to psych yourself up to go to the gym. Just know nobody's paying as much attention to you as you think they are. They just aren't. Okay, everybody's thinking about what they have for breakfast that day, or like what they're gonna eat later, or like you know, oh my gosh, like I gotta get ready. Oh shit, I got a meeting later. Oh I gotta pick up my like. Everybody's got all that shit going through their heads all the time on the day to day. That's just what's going on. Okay, so don't stress about it. Yeah. Okay, I see somebody saying facts. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. So that's the first thing. Nobody's paying attention to you. Okay. The other thing, if you're going to the gym, right, and you're constantly comparing yourself to other people, that can also be a source of uncertainty or like gym anxiety or like and that comes from a place of low self-confidence, right? It comes from a place of low self-confidence. It comes from a place of comparison, right? You cannot compare yourself to other people. You have no fucking clue what they have been through, what they have been doing with their own life, what they like. You don't know their story. They don't know yours, right? You don't know how long they've been going to the gym, right? This may be your first or second week at the gym, period, in your entire life, maybe even. How can you compare yourself to somebody who may have been going to the gym every like 5 days a week for the last 2 decades, right? You can't. Like you're comparing yourself like it's like saying like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my orange isn't an apple, right? Like we're all different like fruits. At the end of the day, we're all different books, right? You can't compare your chapter 2 to somebody else's chapter 20. And at the same time, you can't even compare those chapters in the first place because you're a different book, right? Like you're I don't know, you're Harry Potter and they're I don't know, fucking Chronicles of Narnia. I don't know. I don't read books that much anymore. So but you know what I mean? So you get what I'm saying, right? So like you can't compare yourself to other people because I talked about this in a live the other day. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? If you're constantly comparing yourself to other people, you are paralyzing yourself from taking action and honestly taking advantage of the opportunity to change your life, right? So stop comparing yourself. That's another thing that you need to work on. So some other like practical advice other than like actual like mindset stuff, like telling yourself no, literally nobody's paying attention to you, like nobody gives a shit what you're doing, honestly, like you're not that special, like honestly telling yourself that can help a lot and like getting it through your head. But sometimes mindset work doesn't necessarily like help in that sense, and so building some confidence in the meantime can be really helpful. And in ways that you can do that are one, you know, like studying, right? Studying a little bit, like learning the workouts, maybe looking up videos on how to do stuff before you go into the gym. Maybe it's doing some of these workouts at your house first and foremost if you have some free weights, right? Getting comfortable with some of those movements at home, and then slowly, you know, introducing yourself to the equipment at the gym. So starting out at home maybe can help a little bit with building your confidence. Another thing that can help, going when nobody else is there. Don't go to the gym when it's the busiest fucking time of the day. Obviously, if you can, if you can't help it, and it's literally the only time you can go, fine. But if you can get up early or go later at night, like whenever there's not a lot of people there, don't go right after work. Don't go right after work if you can help it. That is literally when everybody else is going. I don't like going to the gym whenever it's that busy. Like I just don't like being around that many people, honestly, in general. And so like, and I don't like it because it's not very time efficient because there's everything's taken and it's really annoying. But like, so for me, if you can go to the gym early in the day, go early, go whenever other people aren't there. And guess what? Then there's going to be less people there, so therefore you're going to feel more confident in yourself because there's not going to be as many people there that you feel like could be impacting your decisions to actually commit to going to the gym. So that's the other thing. So like go at times whenever there's not a lot of people there. Ease your way into it, right? Ease your way into it. Um, another thing that I would suggest for people who are just starting out, who are gym newbies, who may be getting back into the swing of things now that the new year has started, is honestly like is what was I gonna say? Is making sure like if it makes you feel more confident, and this is coming from me too, like maybe either getting a coach, right, whether they be online to help guide you with things, right, or maybe getting like an in-person trainer for a session or two, right? And this is coming from somebody who doesn't necessarily like in-person training that much. Not because I think that there's anything inherently wrong with it, just because the way that they sell it at big commercial gyms and stuff. I don't really like that. But getting like one or two sessions to help you like get your momentum building in the gym so you feel confident. Don't rely on it as a crutch because it's a very expensive crutch at the end of the day if you do that, and it's not necessary. But that could be something that it could be a tool to help act as like a catalyst to getting you to like to build that momentum, getting comfortable in the gym, right? So that's something to do. Another thing, go with a friend, right? Go with a friend, go with a partner, go with your spouse, if they want to go, if it's something that they want to do. But go with a friend, have a gym partner, because having a gym partner can help build a level of confidence with you. It's almost like just hanging out with your friend, except you're lifting some weights and you're getting healthier together instead of doing something else like going out to the bars and making yourself less healthy together. So having like a partner can be very helpful. It can be a very helpful tool. And it's also something that can help build friendships. It can help build relationships. It's also a great way to stay adherent, right? Staying integral to your plan if you have a plan. So that's another thing that I would suggest is having a gym partner. Honestly, at the end of the day, man, I don't like sitting down. My new office, or my temporary office right now. I'm in I don't have like a desk that I can stand at, so I'm like sitting here. I'm like, I want to get up and move around. But yeah, guys. So those are some simple tips that you can do and you can apply to your own journey if you're nervous about going to the gym. And at the end of the day, right? And I will say this: if you don't want to go to the gym, you don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to go to the gym to make great progress. Some people, the environment's not for them, right? Some people don't like it. Some people are extremely introverted, and some people also have really, really bad like fear of crowds and things like that. And I want to respect that. I don't want to say like I see you, I hear you. I like there are people like I've got weird, not weird, but everybody's got phobias. Everybody's got things that they don't like prefer, right? And so if the gym setting is not your like bread and butter, right? If it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. Like if you know that about yourself and you've given it a shot and you've tried it and you've truly tried it and you've given it an honest like effort to like the gym and to see if it's for you, and it's still not, there's nothing wrong with that. You can make incredible progress at home or in different settings, right? Some people like to work out in the fucking woods. Some people like to go out to an open field and lift kettlebells and throw shit around. Like some people like that shit, right? It's not my thing. That's fine. Some people like to work out from home with their own equipment in their own little dojo in their own space, have their own little private little gym getaway in their home. That's awesome. I can respect that. I like that. Like I have that too for myself, or I had that for myself as well. Like for certain times, it can be a convenience thing too, right? Like the gym doesn't have to be for you, right? It doesn't have to be for you, but you can make amazing progress from at home or out in a freaking cow pasture or whatever, wherever you want to work out. As long as you're working out and as long as you're doing something for your health to like make you a healthier individual, that's all that matters at the end of the day, right? Like there's not. Like some people like to like get it in their heads like you can't make great progress if you don't go to the gym. Is it convenient and can you hit a more variety of things and a more diverse set, like especially if you're like into bodybuilding or like powerlifting? Yeah, you're probably gonna have a better performance over time having access to a gym. Yeah, But most people don't care about that stuff. Most people just want to be in shape. Most people just want to feel confident. Most people just want to like the way that they look whenever they look in the mirror, right? A lot of people want to be around for longer. Not everybody is, sometimes people in the fitness industry or coaches and things like that get very they get so dialed in on their into their niche. At the end of the day, it ends up, they lose sight of what normal and average, your average person actually fucking cares about. And so this is a reminder to those of you out there too, just because you haven't found what fitness is for you, doesn't mean it's not out there. And so if you're somebody right now who, and I will say, for what we do at prechtelevate, we build at home plans for people all the fucking time, and they make amazing progress all the freaking time. Just an example, my client Christina, she's lost over 50 pounds, and she's done all of it from at home. How crazy is that? I've had you can do incredible things. You don't need a gym setting to be able to do it. At the end of the day, you don't need a gym. Is it helpful? Yeah, it can be helpful. It can be convenient if you like it, right? If you like that environment. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. You can make amazing progress from at home. You can. So don't feel like you can't start your journey because you don't like the gym, or the gym's not for you, or you can't, or you don't feel comfortable going to a gym. That's just an excuse you're telling yourself, or maybe it's just something that you don't realize that you can work around yet. And so here I am telling you, saying you can work around it. So start ASAP. Kick 2022 right in the ass. And start ASAP, and make some headway towards your goals and towards your journey. So that's all I got for you guys today. Just wanted to do a quick live on that. But gym anxiety, it's a normal thing. A lot of people have it, especially at the beginning. It will go away with time, but if it doesn't, you've got options. So let me know your number one takeaway in the comments down below. Feel free to give this video a like, so that way other people get a chance to see it. I hope that you guys got some value from this. And if you're a gym newbie, or if you don't feel super confident right now, if you're somebody who's coming back into it, and you don't feel super confident right now for whatever reason, that's okay, right? And if you're looking for somebody to help guide you, hey, send me a message. That's what we do over here. So, other than that, appreciate everybody for tuning in. And outside of that, like I said, number one takeaway down below in the comments. #replay if you're watching this later time. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. See you guys.